Hello friends, this is Marino Suman, the founder and CEO of apiaries. I'm glad to have you once again, and you are welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to take a look at what beehives are, but I'm going to talk specifically about top bar hives because that is what is common in Africa here, and then in Ghana, that is what I use top bar hives, so I'm going to talk about them in this video. One may ask that what is a beehive and why do we use beehives? Because before people started going into beekeeping, bees were existing, but why are we now using beehives for the bees? I'm going to talk about that. Bees used to live in the open and then in natural enclosures, but that wasn't helping. So technology has shown that it is best to keep the bees in beehives. I will explain what a beehive is. A beehive is an artificial enclosure that we house the bees in. It is a home that we built for the bees to make their products, the honey, the bee bread, all the products. And so that is what a beehive is. FAO explained why it is not good to leave bees to live in the open. They must be in enclosures. FAO explained that, and I'm going to share with you guys. Before we started keeping bees in beehives, bees used to live in the open and then in natural enclosures, like in caves and then in hollow trees. But then the thing is that bees that nest in the open produce far less honey than those in enclosures. This is because those in the open are exposed to lots of predators, so they'll have to employ most of the worker bees as guards to be combating those predators and attackers. And then also most of the bees will have to consume large quantities of the honey to cluster around the combs to prevent the wind from blowing on the comb, and then to provide heat and then the right temperature for brood development. They'll have to take in honey as energy to do that. And also in hot days too, the bees will have to take in large quantities of honey to get the energy to fan the combs and cool it, and then to avoid any disaster like melting of the combs, something. They'll have to eat honey for the energy to play that role. And then also, because of their exposed conditions, they'll have to maintain most of the bees, a higher proportion of them as house bees, and then leaving a few as field bees who will be going out to take essentials that will be used for making the bee product. So it makes the honey quantity produced lesser than what we want. Some bees tend to live in natural enclosures like in caves and in hollow trees, but then it becomes difficult for us to harvest their products. Sometimes you have to cut the tree down before we'll be able to access the honey or their products completely. Sometimes we have to be breaking the rocks in the cave before you'll be able to access the honey. So it becomes difficult for us to harvest their honey and their products. But many people are getting more interested in bee products, and so we have to find a way to get more of the product, and that is why we started keeping the bees in beehives. With that, it becomes easier for us to monitor the bees, to inspect them, check their health, and harvest their products. So that is why we now use beehives, and it has really been helpful. We have many types of hives. The traditional hives being the gourd hive, the grass hive, the barrel hive, the clay pot hive, and the modern hives being the Langstroth hive and the top bar hives. But as I said from the onset, I'm going to talk about top bar hives in this video, because that is what is commonly used in Africa and in Ghana, and that is what I also use. The hive is called a top bar hive because it has wooden bars laid across the top of the body. Yeah, and it is under the top bars that the bees build the combs to store their essentials and to raise their young ones. We have V-shaped top bars, grooved top bars, and pointed top bars. The V-shaped top bars are easier to build with simple tools by any local carpenter. They are easier to build. But then the only issue with it is that the combs break away easily. So nowadays we don't usually use it because of that. And for the grooved and pointed top bars, the combs get firmly attached to the bars. But then the only issue with it is that it is very difficult to design because they require electrically powered machines to design them, and that's the issue with it. But then it's the best. That is what most of us will use now. Another feature of the top bar hive is the hive entrance. As you know, you can't build a house without an entrance. Likewise, you can't build a beehive without an entrance. That is what the bees use to enter and leave the hive. So yes, the hives have entrances. And another feature of the top bar hive is the landing pad or landing board, which is what the bees land on before they enter the hive to the entrance. So they are always made under the entrance. So the bees will land on it, then they enter the hive. That is the landing pad or the landing board. The top bar hives also have what we call hive lid. That is what we use to cover the hive. It is the cover for the hive. So after placing the top bars on the hive, then you cover the hive with a hive lid. The hive lid protects the hive from rains and maybe other leaves and other unneeded materials falling into the hive. And then we have the hive body, which is the body of the hive. That is what contains the bees and everything that the bees make. That is the hive body. So now let's get to the advantages of top bar hives. The top bar hives are cheaper to build. Any semi-skilled carpenter can build it. Even beekeepers, most of us, we build our top bar hives ourselves. Myself, 8 of my hives were constructed by me. I was guided by a carpenter, and then I made it myself. So they are easier to build. The top bar hives are easier to build. Also, the materials used for their construction can be gotten locally, so there's no need going to export them, or all the things you need to construct can be found locally. Moreover, top-bar hives are lighter to carry from place to place. Sometimes you have to transport your hive from one place to another. Yeah, and sometimes we do that. Using top-bar hives becomes easier for you to transport the hives. They are lighter. Also, with the use of the top-bar hives, beeswax can be made to increase the farmer's earnings. With the top-bar hives, when you go for harvesting, you harvest both the honey and the combs. So after extracting your honey, you can make beeswax from the combs to get additional income. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so. Like the video, comment. Whatever additions you have, feel free to add. Whatever question you have in mind, feel free to add. And also, if you want me to talk about anything, feel free to mention it at the comment section. Thank you so much for your time.